Hey, vinyl community, it's Eric. It's been a while. Really have not been finding a lot of music that I've been buying. Found some compact discs and a couple pieces of vinyl. So let's take a look. So uh, I'm not going to tell where I got each of these from, but I've been picking up this stuff at thrift shops, at library sales, and at library bag sales. So especially there was one library bag sale where it was $5 a bag. I found a bunch of books, and I happened to wander over to the compact discs, and I found some interesting stuff there. So found this there. Never was a huge Black Crowes fan, but I figured that, I should check them out. Threw it in the bag. Same thing with REM's Automatic for the People. Never a huge REM fan, but this is the one album of theirs I've been interested in checking out. So Erasure Pop 20 Hits. When it comes to this 80s kind of stuff, grabbing like a greatest hits or a compilation, I think is all I really need in my collection. And I'm trying to remember what their big hit was. I don't remember. At any rate, I'll check that out. Did not have a copy of Full Moon Fever, so I snagged that. I'm missing one of these because it's in the car, but I grabbed a couple of George Strait albums to check out. Never really followed this era of country music, so I figured I would throw a couple things in the bag and give it a listen. Shelby Lynn, country singer who I definitely have heard about. Pardon me while I scratch my nose. Wanted to check out her stuff, so I saw that. I used to have this back in the day, and then was not super, not super in love with it. Not the way I loved Bloody Kisses. So I sold my copy years ago, and I snagged another one. So there's that. They have kind of cool disc art. So I should talk about Dead Can Dance, which nominally falls in the goth category. They were on the 4AD record label, but they were definitely much more tribal, more, I don't want to say world music, but definitely a lot of native Australian and African elements to their music. It's very dreamlike and very ethereal. And I really like their Into the Labyrinth album, so I grabbed this one. It's a band whose name I'd seen around. Never really listened to them. They're kind of like indie, roots rocky. I figured I'd just check them out. Paul Kelly is an Australian artist who my friend Morris is a big fan of, and so when I see his stuff, I grab it. He's singer-songwriter, kind of folk country-ish guy. I haven't listened to this album yet, but I've got some of his other stuff that I've listened to a little bit casually. This is an artist who I believe, like a lot of people, you need to sit down and listen to a couple times before you can really have an idea of what they're about. Die Cheerleader, the English band. They're from, I should say, 90s alternative rock. I should cover that up, right? I have their CD. I picked it up when it came out. I'm a big fan of this band. Don't know why they never got the attention that other bands of the era did. Women just rocking out good stuff. Waco Brothers is an early Bloodshot Records release. They were made up of members of several other prominent alt-country bands of that 90s era. So I always check out their stuff when I can find it. Jason Ringberg, who was in Jason and the Scorchers. I've enjoyed some of his solo stuff, but this has one track with Steve Earle, one track with the Wild Hearts, and a track with BR549, so I wanted to check that out. Additionally, this is a signed album, so I have no idea who Analysts and Chip are, but at some point their record collection went away. Rhino's Frat Rock, the 80s. So Rhino was infamous for putting out compilations back in the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s. And their Frat Rock series was one that I've always been interested in, but never did pick up when I used to see it in Tower Records. This 80s one is not my favorite volume, but I found it for $1, and at the very least, I always dig this artwork, and they always have great liner notes for these things, which I probably should have pulled out beforehand, but the photos and information about the bands and the songs. So figured I'd grab that. Okay, just a couple more things here. Cardigan's First Band on the Moon. Great band. Everyone knows Love Fool, but they were definitely a better dark pop alternative band. And yes, that is Iron Man by Black Sabbath. They almost always covered a Sabbath song on their albums. And not in an ironic way, but definitely in their style, but it works. Okay. Vangelis. The City. This is an interesting kind of electronic record that's supposed to follow a day. So it starts off soft and it gets hard and fast and then it gets soft again. I'm not really a huge electronic guy, but occasionally some of this ambient electronic stuff does appeal to me, so I do check it out. And then for the CDs, finally, I got this copy of, let me get the disc here for you, the Woggles Rock and Roll Backlash. So this is on the Wicked Cool label, which is run by Little Steven from Bruce Springsteen's band, who does the Underground Garage. This label got a lot of buzz about a decade ago, put out some cool records. I don't know that they sold particularly well. I mean, there's definitely a fan base, so when I see these, I'm definitely going to pick them up. I have a feeling, and this is just a feeling, that some of this stuff is going to be collectible. More so than that, just about everything he put out, everything that that label was interested in was something that I think is worth hearing. Not going to love every release on this label, but definitely garage rock, rock and roll, surf rock, all of that kind of music was what he was really all about. All right, so to the vinyl. Got two pieces of vinyl. First of all, Uriah Heep, The Magician's Birthday. Found this at thrift store, and I've got one of their other records, so I figured I'd grab that. And then Tom Powell and the Glazer Brothers. Tom Powell was part of that 70s outlaw country scene with Waylon and Willie, kind of a lesser-known part of that, but definitely a big part of the mix. I believe he did a lot of the production and some of the recording for some of those records. He was involved with that whole set of people. He is the other artist that is on that Outlaws compilation that came out. So I found this pretty cheap and figured I would check it out. All right. Thanks for watching. Leave comments below. Hopefully we'll be back sooner rather than later with more music stuff, and I'll catch y'all later. Bye.